Flip a light switch, charge your phone, open a cloud app, and you usually don't think about where the power comes from. But the world is asking for more electricity, especially for data centers and industry. Standard Nuclear is built around one quiet piece of that story: the special fuel that advanced nuclear reactors need before they can make power. This is the kind of IPO the cursor stocks is here to make less intimidating. Standard Nuclear isn't selling an app you tap every morning. It wants to sell the building blocks that could sit far upstream from that light switch. So the central question is simple: is this a real business already, or a big bet on what it might become? Standard Nuclear was founded in 2024 and is based in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, a city with deep nuclear history. It's led by CEO Kurt A. Tarani, who previously spent more than a decade at Oak Ridge National Laboratory and later worked on TRISO fuel manufacturing at USNC. That matters because this isn't a random energy pitch. What does it actually make? Standard Nuclear focuses on TRISO fuel, which is uranium wrapped in protective carbon and ceramic layers. The point is to make fuel tough enough for next-generation reactors, including small reactors, defense systems, and space power. If the reactor is the engine, this company wants to make the fuel that lets it run. The company says it owns and operates commercial-scale facilities totaling 19,000 square feet on a 36.8-acre campus at the former K-25 site in Oak Ridge. That's the real-world part of the story. This isn't just a slide deck about future reactors. There are facilities, permits, workers, and manufacturing steps that have to work every day. The money engine is straightforward to understand, even if the science is not. Standard Nuclear wants customers to buy fuel forms and related power systems instead of building every fuel capability themselves. Its customer world includes advanced reactor developers, government labs, defense buyers, and space applications. That brings us back to the light switch. Reactors can't matter if the fuel supply isn't ready. Now the IPO moment. An IPO is when a private company starts selling tiny ownership pieces of itself on the stock market. Standard Nuclear is set to list on the NYSE on July 16, 2026, under the ticker STDN. The expected range is $18 to $21 per share, with 18.25 million shares offered. At the planned deal size, the company expects to raise about $383 million, which implies pricing around $21 a share if the offering lands as planned. That is a lot of money for a business this young. Companies go public to raise money, get visibility, and sometimes give early backers a path to sell later. But here's where the story gets more interesting. A final IPO valuation hasn't been set, so don't pretend the whole price tag is nailed down yet. What we can say is that the raise alone is huge next to the company's current size. Public investors are being asked to fund a build-out, not just buy a finished machine. The company has shown early commercial signs. It said it booked $5 million in contracts in the first quarter of 2025, signed a fuel offtake agreement for over 1 metric ton, and had more than $100 million of non-binding fuel sales for 2027 in negotiation. Non-binding matters. It means interest, not guaranteed money in the bank. The bull case starts with timing. Power demand is rising, and advanced reactors need specialized fuel before they can become real power plants. Standard Nuclear also raised $140 million in Series A funding, and the company said that money would help expand annual TRISO production to over 2 metric tons across multiple sites by mid-2026. Another bullish point is independence. The company says many fuel efforts are tied to specific reactor designs, while Standard Nuclear wants to be reactor agnostic, meaning it can supply different reactor builders instead of betting on only one. If that works, it could become a supplier to the whole category, not just one project. It has also been collecting credibility signals. Standard Nuclear announced a joint venture with Framatome to produce TRISO fuel in the U.S., and a strategic alliance with Oklo around fuel recycling and advanced fuel manufacturing. Those names don't remove the risk, but they show serious players are willing to work around the same supply problem. Now the catch. Nuclear manufacturing is not like launching a website. It moves through regulators, safety rules, specialized materials, long customer timelines, and expensive facilities. If one approval slows down, or one customer delays a reactor, the fuel demand can move years later. That light switch story only works if the whole chain arrives on time. The financial reality is still very early. In the latest full year shown, Standard Nuclear had about $3.1 million of revenue, which is the money coming in before expenses. It also lost about $15.5 million, and profit is what's left after the bills are paid. Right now, the bills are much bigger. That spending has a name: cash burn. How fast a company spends money to stay alive and grow. For a young manufacturer, some burn can make sense if it builds capacity customers later need. But it still means investors are funding patience. The question returns: real business already, or big bet on what it might become? This is the valuation tension without pretending we know the final valuation. The IPO raise is about $383 million, while latest full-year revenue was about $3.1 million. That gap tells you the market isn't just paying for today's sales, it's paying for the possibility that advanced nuclear fuel becomes a much larger supply chain. Competition is less obvious than in a phone app, but it's real. Standard Nuclear is trying to win customer trust in a field where reactor developers, large nuclear suppliers, government programs, and fuel cycle companies all want influence. Some customers may prefer a specialist. Others may want a bigger partner with more history and balance sheet strength. Who gets the IPO money? The headline offering is for shares of the company's Class A common stock, so the main story is new public capital for Standard Nuclear's growth. The prospectus process also matters because after an IPO, early insiders are usually under a lockup, a waiting period before they can freely sell shares. After it lists, watch 3 things. First, does Standard Nuclear turn early interest into signed, binding customer contracts? Second, do losses shrink as revenue grows? Third, do its partnerships with reactor companies, government programs, and fuel suppliers turn into repeat business? Those signals matter more than whether the first trading day feels exciting. So here's the balanced read. The dream is big. If advanced nuclear grows, fuel could become one of the most important pieces between the lab and the light switch. The doubt is just as clear. This is young, unprofitable, regulated, and still proving demand. Follow the cursor stocks for IPO stories explained before they trade. This video is for information and education only, not financial advice.